Everybody, this is Tracy here with another edition of A View from Tracy's Point. And when I tell y'all the ish has hit the fan. Okay, you guys know that singer R. Kelly is supposed to have what's called a curicose, and I'm probably pronouncing it wrong because I don't have the word right here in front of me, but he's supposed to be having a conflict of interest hearing today regarding his attorneys and the fact that Steve Greenberg and Michael Leonard want to leave the case because they have concerns about Nicole Becker and the Thomas Farinella guy, and that they may have a conflict of interest. And then we heard about the motion about Thomas Farinella having some type of mental issue. John Mesner of the Chicago Tribune has come out with a story this morning that is going to shock everybody. And so you guys remember Richard Arline, who was the one that was on the phone call trying to offer Azriel Clary money not to testify against R. Kelly. The same Richard Arline who pleaded guilty, the same Richard Arline who I keep telling you guys has given the prosecution some information and is working with the government. The same Richard Arline who was supposed to be sentenced on June 9th at 10:30 a.m., but we heard nothing about that sentencing. The same one who's leaving for Jamaica next Monday, this upcoming Monday. Okay, so here we go. Just hold on tight. It says one of the attorneys for singer R. Kelly has selected to represent him at his upcoming racketeering trial in New York has a potential conflict of interest because of her connections to an alleged victim in the case who was part of an FBI bribery sting last year, the Tribune has learned. And so you guys remember we were all trying to figure out who all these different people were on that call. There were like 5 people involved in the indictment who had talked with Arline, had talked with Azriel Clary. You know, they listed the person as Jane Doe number 5, but we already know who Jane Doe number 5 is, and that's Azriel Clary. And we were trying to figure out, we knew Cash Jones was on the call. We knew one of R. Kelly's friends was on the call, but we couldn't figure out who this woman was. Well, it turns out that individual 4 was actually Nicole Becker. You heard me right. So it says that part of Becker's potential conflict involves an investigation into Richard Arline, a self-described cousin of Kelly's, who was charged last year with attempting to pay up to $500,000 to an alleged victim in the racketeering case to keep her from testifying. And so I thought that Richard Arline claimed that he knew R. Kelly or was a friend, but according to this article, he's supposed to be R. Kelly's cousin, and I guess that's what he told the prosecutors in the case, told the U.S. attorneys in the case, is that he is actually R. Kelly's cousin. Not sure that there is any proof to support that. So it says, while the charges do not name the victim, details provided in court records show it was Azriel Clary, Kelly's former girlfriend, who is referred to as Jane Doe number 5 in the indictment against the singer, which, you know, everybody already knows that. So Becker previously worked with Clary when Clary was still a vocal supporter of Kelly's. In fact, after Kelly's arrest in July 2019, Becker showed up for a bond hearing at the Dirksen U.S. Courthouse with Clary and Jocelyn Savage. Becker also provided statements to the media on Clary's and Savage's behalf. And I'm sure you guys remember that. I believe that was the day that one of them, I believe it was Azriel, had that long white coat on and the pink top. And there was another attorney that was with them, and everybody was saying how they had lawyered up. And, and they were walking into the courtroom in and out all gangster style. The media was trying to talk to them. I have some pictures. I'll drop those pictures of that actual court date for you guys to see. And so Messner goes on to say that could be an issue since Clary is expected to testify at the upcoming trial. Becker's dealings with Savage, who remains a Kelly supporter, could also be problematic if Savage were called as a defense witness. So basically what they're saying is Nicole has been close to Jocelyn and Azriel. They have probably revealed things to her that could be potentially harmful either to the defense or to the prosecution. And remember, in that Kirkos, when I was explaining to you guys what the Kirkos hearing is, it set precedents, and it involved two brothers that had been indicted on federal charges, and they both had the same attorney. And then the government was coming down with a second indictment in their case against one of the brothers. I believe it was Gus Kirkos. And he still wanted to be represented by the same attorney. And the government decided that he could not represent both of the brothers because he knew too much information, because he had, been their longtime attorney. So he knew too much. And if they brought these extra charges against the one brother, then the attorney might know, and they allowed him to represent the other brother. He knew too much about both of them that he could pose a conflict that could be harmful to one or both of the brothers. And that's basically what they are saying here, is that Nicole Becker knows too much, or may have received too much information from both Azriel and Jocelyn to be able to effectively, or could potentially harm either the government's case or the defense's case, depending on what that information is. And then he goes on to say that Clary lived with Kelly in his condo in Chicago's Trump Tower, which we already know, before his arrest, but decided to cooperate with authorities in early 2020. Months later, she notified the FBI that Arline first reached out to her about a possible payoff, according to court records. At the direction of the FBI, she recorded numerous phone calls with him about who was behind the offer and how much it would be. And for those of you who are not familiar, if you go back through my R. Kelly series playlist, there are videos there where we read the indictment, where I read the indictment and explain everything that actually happened with that case. And you can go back and check that out. And I'll also tag the link above in this video. Among those Arline was talking to during the investigation was a person identified in court records only as Individual 4 and described as an attorney who represented Kelly on various matters. Sources are now saying that Individual 4 was Nicole Becker Blank. In one recorded conversation, Arline told Clary that Individual 4 and other Kelly associates he was dealing with were worried that she got some, and then there's an explicative. It doesn't say what it is, and I'm thinking it's the S word, that could be damaging to his case. And then he's quoted saying, "I don't know what the probably F word you might got, some videos, some iPads, or whatever you might got. They just want that to disappear. You know what I'm saying," Arline told Clary in the call, court records show. The indictment filed against Arline last August stated that he called a number listed on Individual 4's, who is Nicole Becker, website 3 times between March 2020 and May 2020, though those calls were not recorded. So we don't know what was said or what they talked about. Arline pleaded guilty to bribery in February and is awaiting sentencing, records show. No money ever changed hands, and no one other than Arline was criminally charged as part of the scheme. Asked in court to say in his own words what he did, Arline said that he and another person had offered money to the victim. If she did not go forward with her complaint or testimony against Robert Kelly or give electronic devices in the investigation of Kelly, according to a transcript of the plea hearing. Becker did not respond to emails and calls seeking comment. So Judge Donnelly today, has to deal with the fact that Leonard and Greenberg want to withdraw from the case, 2 months before it's supposed to start, because the start date is August 9th. And at a hearing held by telephone last week, we talked about this. R. Kelly did state that he wanted to keep Nicole on as his attorney, as well as Thomas Farinella. And so I'm not sure if R. Kelly knows about her involvement in those phone calls or what that is all about. It says instead, the singer says he's opted to go with Becker, who is based in Michigan, and another member of the legal team, Thomas Farinella of New York. The lawyers will be present in Donnelly's courtroom for the hearing, which takes place this morning, and the judge wanted Kelly brought to New York so he could attend in person as well, but U.S. Marshals couldn't get him there in time, so instead he'll participate via video conference, and the singer has been held, we know, in Chicago. So Greenberg and Leonard have previously said that they had concerns about the backgrounds of both Farinella and Becker, neither of whom have ever tried a federal case. And it's just interesting because Greenberg, did he just find this information out that, she was on that call, that she could have a potential conflict of interest? Because didn't he know that she was building a relationship with Jocelyn and Azriel? Once again, this just seems so premeditated that they are going to wait until right before the trial for all this stuff to come out, when he should have known this already. And I mean, as the attorney on the case, he should know who, even though we don't know who they're referring to when they say individual 1, individual 2, he should know who they're talking about. Or maybe this was part of the discovery that the government had been holding on. And you guys remember at the last status hearing, all of the attorneys and all of the U.S. attorneys agreed that Greenberg now has all the discovery. He knows who all the Jane Does are in the case. So did he just now figure out this information based on the discovery, in the list of government witnesses and all of this, that Nicole was individual 4 on that call? Or did he know all along that she was individual 4? This is a mess. I mean, what do you guys think? Is Nicole working for the opposition? Is this just purely coincidental? Did she know about the call and inform R. Kelly about the call? Did R. Kelly ask her to be on the call? What is all of this about? And more importantly, if you guys remember, I told you if they change Richard Arline's sentencing date to after R. Kelly's hearing, then that means that he has some information that is going to be revealed in this trial, that he has somehow connected R. Kelly to the bribery of Azriel. And I think it's just so interesting that they still have out there on the docket that Richard Arline was to be sentenced at June 9th. They have not entered any information about his sentencing, whether he was sentenced in private, whether he is going to be sentenced at a later date. We don't know any of that at this point. And so this all seems to be coming together. But more important, what was Nicole on that call for? Why was she on that call where someone was trying to bribe her client's alleged victim, someone who is turning state's evidence against him, who's going to testify against him, who's saying that he harmed her? Why was Nicole on that phone call? And why are we just now finding out about it? So guys, I know that you're probably just as shocked as I am by this information. I don't know. Maybe everybody need to go. All the attorneys need to go at this point, because I don't trust any of them. So, was Nicole part of the setup, to try and make it seem like R. Kelly, is this awful person who is doing things behind the scene? Did Azriel contact Nicole Becker and ask her to be on that call to seemingly set Nicole up? Like, what is really going on? What are your thoughts as far as what is happening? Go ahead, leave your comments below, rate the video, and subscribe to the channel if you haven't done so already. And until the next time, I shall talk to you guys later. Bye-bye.